Hello, everybody. We are back, and I have another dear friend of David's. I have Joseph right here next to me, and I want to know, how did you guys connect? I know that you guys go way back. So how did that start?
So I met David back in 2006 at a Starbucks in the Galleria area of Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And I walked in, I had no money at the time, and I was looking for somebody to sell a real estate program because that was the only way I was going to make money that week.
Okay.
And I saw David sitting there, and he was wearing a suit, and he actually approached me to sell me a travel business option.
So wait, you guys were trying to sell each other?
We were trying to sell each other right from the get-go, right from the go.
Okay.
And pretty much, and I was looking at him. I was like, well, I don't have any money to travel anywhere. And he was looking at me like, well, I don't have any money to buy some real estate. So we're like, okay, well, what are we going to do here? Well, let's figure out how we can make money together. And that's really how we started our friendship, is figuring out how to help each other. And we just ran with it from there.
Wow. And I understand that you're in e-commerce?
Yes, ma'am.
How did that happen?
So when I got out of the military in 2014, the last thing I wanted to do was get a job where another man could tell me what to do for a living, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I did was I went to YouTube and I searched how to make money from home. And a video on Amazon came up on how to make money by selling items on Amazon. Mm-hmm. And, I started taking the training. Sold my first couple items, and once I realized that I was able to have success with a couple $100, I can make a couple thousand and a couple more, and then that's pretty much how that took off.
So you started kind of going more, I guess, leveling up, right?
Yes.
In terms of your goals. And I think we talk a lot about that in this event.
Yes.
A lot of people have literally the money that they want to make on their phones, and that number just keeps going up.
Yes.
So how did you apply the things that we've talked about throughout the whole event?
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot of amazing leaders. So some of the things that you've learned, is that there's something that you would want to share with our people here?
So ideally, what I would want to say is that you have to figure out what your vision is. You have to figure out what makes you happy. And once you figure out what makes you happy, that's the most important question to ask yourself. Now you can base your income around it. Right? So what I figured out what made me happiest was going to the gym, going to the beach, climbing mountains, going on long drives, and talking to random people about business. I couldn't do that with a job. It wasn't going to happen if I got a corporate life, if I chased a career. And so the reason why I realized what made me happy, that made me realize I need to figure out how to base my income around what makes me happy. And so that gave me the fuel and the motivation to search for that. And when I found it, I never looked back. I as we call it, burn the bridges. We have no option B or C. It's just option A. And when I made my first dollar, that was what I needed to realize that this is real and this is possible. And what we learned here at this event was you got to have a vision, and you have to have a strategy on how you're going to believe that vision, and you got to write down your goals. And now that you have your goals written down, you have a target that you can hit. See, you can't hit a target if you're blindfolded. And the greatest thing that David taught me was that if you can't see the reality that you want with your eyes open, you have to close your eyes and see the reality with your eyes closed. And then eventually, because you can envision it, your brain will figure out a way to make it happen when your eyes are open.
So when you guys actually met, you guys had that vision.
No, definitely not. No, we were two kids just trying to figure out how to make a dollar to get to the next stage of life that would hopefully lead us to multiple dollars, right? And because we had a desire to have more opportunity, when opportunity came, we were able to take advantage of that opportunity and use it. And that was really where the magic really started, was once we realized that it was possible, we were able to obtain it. But it all started with that desire.
So I don't know if you heard Dr. Darius speak earlier, but he talked about clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Having clarity in that vision, having clarity in your goals. How did you, or when did you actually find that clarity in your path?
So it kind of goes back to what I was saying is, I wasn't happy with where I was at in life. I wasn't happy with the car I drove. I wasn't happy with the number that was in my bank account. Mm-hmm. I wasn't happy with the house I was living at. And the only way I could get that clarity is I had to figure out what I really wanted with this success that I was chasing, this dollar amount that I was chasing.
Basically asking yourself questions.
Asking myself questions. It was really, the answer wasn't what mattered the most. It was the type of questions I was asking myself. And then when I said, what kind of house do I want to live? Well, that forced me to go and do walkthroughs of multi-million-dollar homes that were selling out in San Diego. And so what I did was I went to these houses on the cliff out there that are $5 and $10 million, and I started walking through those homes. You know, the realtor that's doing the open house, they don't know that I can't afford it, but they're talking to me and I'm saying, yeah, you know, how much is this? Okay, the mortgage would be that. Awesome. And that allowed me to figure out what type of home I wanted to live. That told me that I didn't really want a house. I wanted to live in a condo. And so because I figured I wanted to live in a condo, when I started making condo money, I knew what type of condo to go after. When I didn't have a car, I would go and test drive cars that I couldn't afford, but I wanted, and that helped me figure out what car was worth working towards to purchase one day. And then eventually I did. So it was just, I forced myself to figure out what I was willing to work for, so that way I never gave up on my vision. I never gave up on my goal because I knew what I wanted. And I realized if I don't know what I want, I'm going to quit. You know, if I realize that if I start climbing this mountain and I can't see the top, I'm going to turn around halfway because I can't see the top. You know, I don't know where I'm going. And that's what a lot of people do when they say they have a goal. They never really envision their goal, and that's why they give up on their goal, because they don't really know what they want. So I figured out what I wanted by going and experiencing things I couldn't afford, and eventually I made the money where I can afford it.
I think it is so close and I can have it. It's all about putting in the work.
Correct.
Right? So in general, right, we've learned a lot throughout all these days. What is one thing that you're taking away?
The biggest takeaway, coming to these events and being around these people, is a fuel source like no other. You will never be as charged up doing this by yourself as you would going and being in a crowd that's wanting the same thing. It's kind of like, you ever watch a Super Bowl at your house by yourself, and when your team wins, you celebrate it? But if you go down the street to the bar with 200-300 people that are celebrating that same Super Bowl win, it's lightning. It's like a magnification of energy that just goes through the crowd because you're sharing that energy with other people. So would you want to celebrate a Super Bowl by yourself, or would you want to celebrate it with a crowd of people? And when you come here to these events, you're celebrating your goals with everybody else who also wants you to accomplish those goals.
Right, it's about having that support system, that network.
Yes.
I'm sure that you've made a lot of great connections.
Your network is your net worth.
Yes, I'm 100% with that. And what does believing in yourself mean to you?
You know, first time David told me to believe in myself, I said, stop telling me that witchcraft talk. So stop telling me to believe this hippie word, this hippie talk, you know? I'll tell you, the witchcraft works. The hippie talk works. So believing in yourself for a lot of people is just that. It's that hippie talk, you know? And what that initially turns out is you have to look like a fool to everybody else when you talk about the goals that you want. And you have to be okay with that. So I choose to foolishly act like I'm going to have everything I desire. And the longer I live, I start to actually have everything I desire because I was foolishly believing that it was possible. So for me, belief in yourself, it just means being foolish in your current reality instead of being a realistic individual in your current reality.
Wow. Those are powerful, powerful words. Guys, I hope that you took notes, and I hope that you took a lot of advice from this gentleman right here, because I know I did. So thank you so much. There's a lot more interviews coming your way, and stay connected.